Good morning po sa ating lahat. I am humbled and privileged to be standing before you this morning po. I would like to extend my gratitude first for extending me the invitation to speak before you this morning kay Mac, who's been a good friend of mine since college days ko pa po. Kay Sir Art, thank you very much, sir. And also, it's nice to see a former colleague of mine, si Sir Lopi po. Magkatrabaho po kami sa pamantasan ng lungsod ng Muntinlupa. Bago po kami halos sabay-sabay na nagsialisan doon. And then iba-iba na po yung naging takbo ng aming mga karera. Maraming salamat po again for inviting me over. Shall we bow our heads in prayer for a moment? Please, Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to learn from your word and also to help us, Lord, to guard our hearts and our tongue as well. Itago niyo po ako sa inyong krus at hayaan niyo pong mga salita niyo lamang ang aming marinig sa umagang ito po. Ito po ang aming panalangin sa pangalan ni Jesus. Amen. Good morning po sa ating lahat. And you know, when we talk about words, let me just have a disclaimer that I am not actually an expert of it. I think we all are students when it comes to communicating and using the right words whenever we speak, as I say. So we talk about the tangled web of words. And when we speak of words, we talk about a medium through which we communicate our feelings, our deepest thoughts, and our ideas. Kahit na po anong mga language yung ginagamit natin, words pa rin yung ginagamit natin mostly. Okay? And in the process of communication, always our end goal is to understand each other. Kapag po walang understanding, walang communication na nangyayari. If it's only one way, hindi po tayo nagkakaroon ng tinatawag nating communication. That's why it's very important for us to make sure that we always get our message across and also that we are understood by the people we are talking with. So again, when we talk about the tangled web of words, we say that the main goal of communication is always understanding. Ayan po yung pinaka-goal ng communication. But sometimes, we have to understand that even the best of our intentions can be marred in miscommunication. Kahit na po gaano kagusto at kaganda yung intention natin sa pagsasalita, when there is miscommunication, natitaint po yung ating pagnanais, okay, na yung intention, even the best of our intentions. And this miscommunication can lead to misunderstanding, right? And I believe that for the longest time na nabuhay tayo, there are portions of our conversations that we felt like we were misunderstood. Right? Na nagkaroon ng miscommunication and at the same time, we were misrepresented by the words na naipapasa na sa ibang tao. And sometimes this miscommunication can lead also to missed opportunities. Right? Nagkakaroon ng mga missed opportunities because of the words we say. And so this morning, we're going to walk through a topic that most of us, including myself, is a student still of and are learning from now. Magandang umaga po. This morning, naatasan po ako magsalita sa topic na wielding words. Piloting good Christian communication. Next slide na po tayo. Ayan, medyo na late po tayo ng konti. Sige po. Ayan, next po, sa title na po tayo. Ayan, Wielding Words, Piloting Good Communication in Christian Perspective. So this morning, pasensya na po, there are some technical words na mababanggit ko, but I will try my best para po pababawin ito para mas maunawaan natin on our own level. So at first, ang gagawin po natin, we will be looking at some communication theories. You know, there are a lot of communication theories out there, but what I did was to just pick a couple of this para ho maintindihan natin kung paano na tayo nagsasalita and how we try to transmit these words to other people at kung paano tinatanggap ng ibang tao kapag tayo po ay nagsasalita. So first, let's look at how our words and the information that we share is transmitted, okay, through this selected communication theories. Para po yun, tingnan ho muna natin ang ibig sabihin ng communication theory. Medyo technical po itong konti ha, pero I'll try my best best to make this na medyo mas mababaw as possible. So when we talk about a communication theory, this is a systematic study of principles and processes by which ang information po is transmitted and also understood. So there are four ideas na ine-explore when we talk about communication theories. The first one is what we call as the dynamic of interaction. And when we speak of dynamic of interaction, ang pinag-uusapan po natin dito is paano nag-i-interact ang mga tao. Say for example, we talk about the dynamics of interaction that we have at this morning. This is very one way. Right? Ako yung nagsasalita, wala akong response na natatanggap sa inyo except for the non-verbals na nakikita ko sa inyo habang nagsasalita ako. Either nakatingin ba kayo sa akin or nakikita ko bang nabubore kayo habang nagsasalita ako. Okay. And when we talk about dynamics of interaction, you talk about, say for example, sa classroom, nagsasalita ang teacher. Minsan, may mga students na sobrang active na mas malakas pa ang boses sa teacher. Or minsan naman, may mga classroom na sobrang tahimik at hinahayaan lang na ang guro ay nagsasalita. For a Sunday sermon, minsan ganoon din. Not unless the speaker would require of a feedback, doon lang tayo magkakaroon ng, so ano ba yung nangyayari? Are people actually grasping what I am saying? Or saan ba? Nagkakaroon na ba tayo rito ng miscommunication? Or yung mga noise ba sa paligid natin ay nakakaapekto na on how we are actually deciphering the words that are being spoken? So that's the first one, dynamic of interaction. The second one is the role of context. Dito naman po, tinitingnan natin yung importansya ng paligid natin. Okay. So pag ako nagsasalita, halimbawa, ang kausap ko po ay mga nasa slum area. Hindi po ako pwedeng magsalita ng English. At hindi nila ako maintindihan because in their context, baka magkaroon ng problema. Okay? Tutulugan lang nila ako. So context is very important because the meaning of the words being spoken will very much depend on the context of the person listening. Okay? Yun po yung napaka-importante sa ating pag-uusap. Even the words we say have different meanings depending on who is listening. Okay? When I say, for example, I'm talking with a Muslim whom I do not know is a Muslim, pag sinabi kong I believe in God, well, I have a different meaning of the God, the word God, as compared to a Muslim person who is also saying the word God. Pero ang sasabihin niya sa akin, I also believe in God. Right? So, yung konteksto ng sinasabi natin ay napaka-importante kapag tayo po ay nag-uusap. Because again, different cultures have different contexts. Okay? Next one is the effect of media. Mamaya, hihimayin natin ng konti itong mga bagay nito. Now, when we talk about the effect of media, this explores that particularly at a time right now that there is an explosion of different social media platforms, ang media po can dictate kung ano yung pinag-uusapan natin. Right? Definitely, pag nakita natin yan sa may social media, sila ang nagdidictate kung ano ba yung dapat na napag-uusapan ng mga tao kasi ang pumapasok sa conversation natin, what is trending? Kung ano yung trending, yun ang pinag-uusapan natin. That's how the media can actually influence the topic of our conversations. Pansinin ninyo sa usapan ninyo sa pamilya, sa magkakaibigan, even sa mga churchmates. Diba? The media has a very big impact kung ano yung nagiging content ng ating conversation. Okay? And of course, yung pangatlo, sorry po, nakalimutan ko ito, the impact of culture. Okay, when we talk about the impact of culture, when we talk about culture, it's actually a web na ang daming bahagi ng kulturang pinag-uusapan natin. We talk about our values, our belief system, the norms. When we talk about the norms, these are the socially acceptable rules in our society. And when we speak of culture, iba-iba tayo ng kultura. We all have our different families, but in a family, we have a distinct culture as well. Okay? Hindi porkit pare-pareho tayong mga Pilipino, pare-pareho tayo ng kultura. There are general cultures of the Filipinos, but when you go in your own families, may iba-iba kayong kultura. Kung paano kayo kumakain. Kumakain ba kayo ng sabay-sabay? Meron pa bang families na kumakain ng sabay-sabay ngayon? Sana.
Right? Hopefully, meron pa rin, lalo na sa mga Kristiyanong pamilya. Right? At sana nga yung rules natin kapag kumakain sa hapagkainan, walang cellphone. 'Di ba? Because usually that's the only time that you can talk with your family. Wala na kasing panahon para mag-usap kayo, lalo na pag malalaki na ang mga anak ninyo. Okay? At nasa iba't ibang kultura na sila, nasa iba-ibang community na sila. Okay? So that's very important. That's why, kapag nagkita-kita tayo, minsan, we're judging people around us on the basis of our own culture. Right? Dinuhusgahan natin yung mga tao sa paligid natin at ang nagiging standard is kung ano yung kultura natin because we feel like this culture is actually the standard. Pero ang hindi natin alam, iba-iba tayo ng kultura. When I studied in Korea po, pasensya na po kung babanggitin ko lang, I became so, not really upset, but at the first time that I was there, I had a hard time adjusting because it is such a very Confucianistic culture na ibang-iba ang kultura niya sa mga Pilipino. We're both Asians, right? But when you talk about how people communicate, okay, and even the culture of people, they are so very different. Okay, so iba ganun talaga. So what I have to do is just to accept the fact that I'm living in a different world and I have to accept them just as who they are. Just as they say, when you are in Rome, you have to live as the Romans do. Right? Hindi mo pwedeng i-push yung kung ano yung alam mong tama because definitely what you think is right on their perspective is different. Right? Kung papaano nagmamanifest yung tama in real world sa kanila might be totally different from how it manifests in the world that I was coming from at that time. So, napaka-importante po pag pinag-usapan natin ang konteksto. So, yan po yung apat na yon. But at this time, we will go through, I think 4 lang naman po na mga theories. And here, we will be learning how our words are transmitted and how other people are accepting those words. So, the first theory, ang pag-uusapan natin is what we call as the active listening theory. Ayan, active listening theory. When we talk about the active listening theory, this does not mean na kailangan 2 oras may nag-uusap pagkatapos nakikinig ka lang. It doesn't have to take long sessions like that na nakikinig ka ng mga personal grievances of the people around you or otherwise. It's somehow like when you speak to other people. Okay, pansinin nyo yung sarili nyo. When you are speaking with your churchmates, or kung nag-uusap kayo sa pamilya. Question, do you talk a lot or do you listen more? Nasaan tayo doon? Tayo ba yung laging nagsasalita or tayo ba yung laging nakikinig? Nasaan tayo doon sa may part na yon? Remember these people, unless we understand the value of an individual, hindi natin sila pakikinggan. Unless we understand the worth of every single person in the room, we will never listen to these people. Sometimes we put price tags on people kung pakikinggan ba natin sila or hindi. Minsan, nakadepende ang price tag sa kung ano yung immediately na nakikita natin sa kanila at face value. Ano yung suot nila, branded ba o hindi? Naka-Rolex ba to o hindi? And sometimes, naka-value doon kung pakikinggan ba natin sila o hindi. But then as God's people, we have to understand that we are all valuable in God's sight. But unless we realize the value and the importance of people around us, we will never listen to them. So yun po yung pinaka-groundwork nun. Kailangan, pag nakikinig tayo, we listen to the person because we know that that person is important. Dahil alam natin ang kahalagahan ng bawat isa. That is what active listening should be. Kapag tayo po ay kinakausap or may magme-message sa atin, usap tayo. Magayon, kain naman tayo sa labas or coffee tayo sa labas. Do you know that when people say, coffee naman tayo sometimes, it's actually a way for them to say, I need a listening ear. Gusto ko lang ng merong makakausap. Right? But sometimes, kailangan malinaw yung framework natin. Pag ikaw ba nagsabi sa akin, what is the intention? Ako ba ay nandito para makinig lang? Or nandito ako para makinig at mag-advise? Kailangan malinaw yun eh. Because for the most part, kapag gusto tayong kausapin ng mga tao, gusto lang talaga ng makikinig sa kanila. Some of the people, or many of the people we talk to, hindi nila gustong magbigay tayo ng advice. Unless we ask them, do you want my 2 cents doon sa sinasabi mo? Or do you just want me to listen? Right? That's very important. Kapag tayo po ay nakikipag-usap. And yung mga taong nagsasalita, they will actually know if we are actively listening. Okay? Hindi man tayo magsalita through our non-verbals. Right? Saan ka ba nakatingin? Pagala-gala ba yung mata mo? Or ganyan ka ba ng ganyan? Tap ka ba ng tap ng paa mo? Because these non-verbals actually have a lot of meanings as well. Right? You know, the people na nagsasalita kapag tayo po ay nakikinig, they actually know if we are actually actively listening. According to Stephen Covey, ito po yung sabi niya. Next one po, next slide. Okay? Dito po yung natin na hear what people are really saying. Next slide po. Ayan. According to Stephen Covey, sabi niya ito, listen with the intent to understand, not the intent to reply. Di ba minsan pag nagsasalita sa isang grupo, minsan may nagbabat in agad. Hindi, ako nga eh. Or sabihin, ikat kita saglit may sasabihin ako. Di ba? Minsan sa communication, nagiging problema natin yon. We don't want other people to talk. Diba? Minsan may tendency tayo na para tayong feeling gold na yung mga sasabihin natin, yun lang yung dapat napakinggan ng mga tao. Right? So, remember that. Listen with the intent to understand and not to reply. But there's another one. Next po. Ito, napakaganda nito. Okay. The first duty of love is to listen. This is according to Paul Tillich, a very great philosopher, if I may. The first duty of love is to listen. Sa mga mag-asawa po rito, remember that. Okay? The first duty of love is to listen. Now, the question is, how are you as a listener? I have a challenge for you after this. Okay? Pag meron kayong mga meetings with your friends or with your relatives, pansinin niyo po sa grupo na yon kung sino yung laging speaker at kung sino yung laging listener. And my challenge for you is when you meet with a group of friends or your family, kahit isang beses lang, subukan niyo pong huwag kayong masyadong nagsasalita, but be more of a listener. And you will see how the conversation will go. Huwag yung sabing, hindi ako pwede magsalita ngayon kasi may challenge yung speaker namin. Huwag naman pong ganoon. Okay? Huwag naman ganoon. Subukan nyo lang po that in that conversation, you will act more of a listener and you will see how different the conversation would look like. Napakalaki ng magiging pagbabago kapag po naging active listener po tayo. Okay? Now, next one. Proceed po tayo sa next one. Okay, tingnan ko lang yung time ko. The second theory na pinili ko po is what we call as the agenda setting theory. Okay, agenda setting theory. Ano po yung ibig sabihin nito? Katulad po ng binanggit ko sa inyo kanina, the mass media actually has the power to determine the content of our conversations. Okay? Napaka-powerful po ng media before. At the time now, hindi pa nagbo-boom ang social media, lalo na po ngayon. Right? Napaka-powerful ng mga social media platforms that they have the power kung ano yung ididikta nila, kung ano yung magiging content ng atin pong pag-uusapan dahil kung ano yung trending, tandaan nyo po, kinabukasan sa trabaho ninyo, yan ay yung pinag-uusapan ng mga tao. Right? Ayan na yung pag-uusapan ng mga tao. Question po, para lang makita ko yung profiling ng ating audience ngayon. Sino po sa inyo rito ang mga singles na nagtatrabaho? Nasa young professionals. Ayan, para po alam natin. Ayan. Sino po yung mga parents na dito? Yan, mga may asawa. Ayan po, thank you for coming. Pasensya na po kung single ang inyong speaker. Okay. But I hope you will be learning as well sa pag-uusap natin ngayon. Now, my question is this. Let's look at how we patronize these different social media platforms. Next slide, please. Now, this one, according to techprofree.com, these are the top social media platforms noong 2024. Ayan, so we have Pinterest, Facebook, hindi po to in order ha. You have Pinterest, Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Reddit, and TikTok. Now, meron lang po akong itatanong sa inyo ha. Sino po sa inyo rito ang walang social media account sa kahit na ano dito? So, ibig sabihin, meron kahit isa. Okay po. Now, ang question ko is yung activity natin doon. Okay? Sino po sa inyo rito ang merong social media platform na ito, may account po kayo, na very active? Isa lang ang meron kayong very active. Sige nga, ayan, tingnan natin. So, okay. Mostly hulaan ko, Facebook, tama? Facebook. Sino yung hindi Facebook ang pinaka-active? Ano, sir? YouTube. Content creator, sir? Mahilig lang manood. Thank you very much, sir, ma'am. WhatsApp. Oh, nice. Bibihira sa mga Pilipino usually, ang WhatsApp ang pinaka-ginagamit nilang social media platform, sir. Reddit and LinkedIn. Ay, medyo professional ito, di ba? LinkedIn. Di ba? Napaka-professional ng kanyang ginagamit. Okay. Ang Reddit usually, mga ano to, no? Conversations ng mga tao, your ideas and thoughts. 'Di ba? Yung mga tinatanong doon. Okay, sino rito ang dalawa ang active ang inyong social media platforms? Yes, ma'am. Ano po yung sa inyo dalawa? Instagram and Pinterest, hindi Facebook. Bakit po hindi Facebook, ma'am? Nagtatago. Sorry naman po, ako naka-deactivate din eh. Naka-deactivate din ang aking Facebook. Okay, ma'am, bakit ayaw mo lang muna?
Nag-start po yun muna sa high school.
Oh, okay.
Tagal-tagal na po talaga ako hindi nag-Facebook.
Kayo naman, hinusgahan nyo agad. Okay. High school pa lang naman, gano'n na. Honestly, nakakalungkot ang social media platforms, particularly Facebook, kasi nagiging palengke siya. Right? So ako, because of the toxicity of the platform, I decided from time to time, nagde-deactivate talaga ako ng social media account ko. It's very important for us to unplug ourselves from the social media platforms once in a while. Okay? And to get in touch with who we are as human beings, as God's children. Okay? Napaka-importante. Sir, you're raising your hand as well. Ano pong active na ano ninyo? Facebook and may TikToker tayo rito. Di ba? Mga maraming followers si Sir sa TikTok. Sir, ano ang nagdala sa inyo sa TikTok at bakit napaka-active nyo sa TikTok? Ay, nagbebenta si Sir, may business. Sige Sir, pakipromote ang business natin. Go ahead po. Reels lang. Okay. Okay, group ang nahanap mo sa TikTok. Okay. So you found a community there. Tapos the more na naging active ka doon, very good. Alam niyo po, sa YouTube, di ba, sa social media, thank you very much, sir, ang daming mga tinatawag nating influencers at this time. Ako nalulungkot ako pag ginagamit yung word na influencers kasi parang napakababaw nung ibig sabihin nila sa salitang influencer. Right? Parang gano'n na lang ba ang influence na pwede natin basta meron kang clout? Right? May audience ka. One time, I saw my niece watching on YouTube, pinapanood niya yung buhay ni Tony Fowler. Kilala niyo po? Hindi ako familiar sa kanya pero napakasikat nila sa may social media. And one time, matabi lang aking dila, sabi ko sa pamangkin ko, alam mo, while you are making these people rich, they're making a fool out of you. Sorry po naging honest lang ako sa kanya. Kasi the content of these people, sometimes I tried watching them. Sabi ko, ano makukuha ko sa mga to? 'Di ba? Parang nagiging parang binibigay nila kung ano man ang buhay nila, lahat ng mga problema nila sa buhay and all, pinapayaman natin sila because of the ads when we watch the social media platforms. But at the same time, what are we gaining? Yes, entertainment. Yeah, chismis ng buhay nila. Pero how is it enhancing us as people? Or let me be very honest about it. How is it enhancing us as God's children? Diba? Paano yun? Sabi na lang ng pamangkin ko, don't worry kuya, I know my limits. Talaga, sana. Diba? Alam natin. Pero honestly, yun yung nagiging problema ng maraming. I don't know sa mga parents na nandito, diba? Minsan nagugulat kayo kung ano-anong pinapanood ng mga anak ninyo. Diba? Yung mga buhay ng ibang mga tao. Sino yan? Sino to? Sila yung mga ganito. Sige, bahala kayo. Kaya lang nakakalungkot po, okay, na minsan umaabot sa ganito. Sana kung magiging influencer man ang ilan sa atin dito, who knows in the future, di ba? Si Sir nasa TikTok, malay natin. Magkaroon na siya ng 2 million na mga followers doon. Di ba? We use the platform to influence for good. Di ba? Because that's what we were created to be. Okay? That's what we were created for. Okay, itong social media platforms na to, mag-ingat din po tayo ha. Kasi baka dito na umiikot ang buhay natin. Not only our conversations, but even our lives. The next one, we have this, the face negotiation theory. Dito naman po, wag tayong matakot doon sa mga jargons na ginagamit natin dito. Okay, jargons lang po yan, mga words lang po yan. I'll try my best para pababawin po ito. Now, when we talk about the face negotiation theory, this highlights yung conflict style differences between collectivist and individualist na mga tao. Papaliwanag ko po ito because this is coming from a very sociological perspective. Okay, when we talk about individualism and collectivism, depende po ito sa kultura kung saan nandoon ang isang tao. When we say, for example, collectivist people, okay, pag sinabi nating mga collectivist na mga tao, a very good example of this are Filipinos. Okay? Filipinos are very collectivist people. When we say collectivism po kasi, this is a mindset, a perspective that when we make decisions, or say for this instance, when we resolve conflicts, we think about the other people around us before we make a decision. Okay? Bibigyan ko po kayo ng example. Halimbawa, college student, senior high ako, pag-aaral ako ng kolehiyo, and I am thinking of what career path nang tatahakin ko. I want to be an engineer. But then again, I'm coming from a family of doctors. And I am somehow expected to continue the legacy of the family na maging doktor kaming lahat. Because I am coming from a collectivist society and I need to appease all the people around me, I will give in to their wishes instead of following my own dreams. That's very collectivist. Okay? Before we make any decisions, naisip na natin kung anong sasabihin ng magulang ko, ng tita or tito ko, ng kapitbahay namin, minsan nung aso ko, kung may aso, kakausapin ko din kung anong opinion nila. And I make a decision. That's what collectivists people are. When we make decisions, when we resolve conflicts, we make sure na ang lahat ng mga tao maa-appease natin. It will be for the benefit of all. Okay? But when we talk about, say, for example, individualistic societies, okay? One good example is the United States of America. They are individualistic in a sense that their main goal is actually self-actualization. Para ako nasa classroom, di ba? Self-actualization, anong ibig sabihin nun? I will do everything in my power to follow and fulfill my dreams, no matter what. I don't care what other people will say. I don't care kahit na ayaw ng magulang ko sa pangarap ko. I don't care kung anong gusto ng barangay namin. What matters to me is my dreams and the fulfillment of those dreams. Yun po yung napaka-individualistic. Don't get me wrong, people. When we say individualism, it doesn't mean self-centered. It means self-centric. Magkaiba po yun. Self-centrism and self-centeredness are two different words. Magkaiba po yun. Pag self-centered ka, ang nakikita mo lang sarili mo. Ako lang dapat ang nagbe-benefit dito. Well, in self-centrism or individualism, yes, of course. But it doesn't mean na aapakan mo yung mga ibang tao sa paligid mo. It's just that sometimes their opinions won't matter to you because there are decisions that you have to make on your own. Ganun po yun. Next slide po, tingnan po natin ito. These are some of the characteristics of individualistic cultures. Okay? They go through uniqueness, gustong-gusto nila yon. Autonomy, which means independence. Buhay ko to, ako ang masusunod. Pangarap ko to eh. Ito yung gusto kong mangyari. Okay? Self-sufficiency. I can do this on my own. Okay? Independence. Ito po yung descriptions ng isang individualistic culture. Okay? Next one, tingnan naman natin yung collectivist culture. Okay, ayan po. Social rules focus on promoting selflessness. Yan nga, sige na nga, pagbibigyan ko na sila. Laging ikaw na lang yung nagbibigay hanggang sa maubos ka. Naramdaman niya na ba yun? Naranasan niya na ba yun? Ikaw nang ikaw. Hanggang sa wala ka nang mabigay. Okay? Anong mangyayari pag wala ka nang mabigay? Ubos ka na, upos ka na. Hindi ka na magsisimba. Ay, nakaka-relate si Sir. Di ba? Yung parang ikaw na lang ng ikaw palagi. Okay? Kasi gusto mo maayos ang lahat. Ayaw mo ng gulo. So, sa ngalan ng kapayapaan, medyo ganito po ako sa pamilya namin. Sa ngalan ng kapayapaan, sige na nga. Diba? Okay. Working as a group, very groupish tayo. Doing what's best for society and families and communities have a very central role. Just to sum this up, next slide please. Ito po yung pinaka-idea. Yun po. Sige lang po. Next one. Ayan. How culture shapes our personalities in the concept of individualism and collectivism. In individualism, when you think of the I, you think of the me. In collectivism, when you think of the I, you think of the we. So in individualism, I is me. In collectivism, I is we. Kahit nasabihin mong hindi, desisyon ko to eh. Bago ka pumasok sa desisyon na yan, naisip mo na lahat ang iniisip ng mga tao sa paligid mo. That's very collectivist. But parents, ang mga tao po at mga kabataan ngayon ay ibang-iba. Okay? Kasi ang mundo natin ngayon, we're not just solely concentrated on the Filipino culture. Diba? Globalization has brought our world into a borderless society that our influences could go from the Philippines up to the farthest ends of the earth. So iba-iba yung pumapasok na influence sa mga tao sa paligid natin, lalo na sa mga kabataan ngayon. One time, I was talking with a father, he's also a pastor, na ang anak niya po ay nag-aaral sa aming eskwelahan. And one time sabi niya sa akin, alam mo sir, yung anak ko dati, pag umuwi yan at may conversation kami kapag kumakain kami, walang sinasabi yan, tanggap lang ng tanggap. Pero simula nang nag-aral dyan, pag nagsasalita at nag-uusap kami sa table, lagi na lang siyang may sabing, hindi naman ganun yun, tay. At least may paggalang pa din, di ba? Hindi naman ganun yun, tay. Kasi ganito po yun eh. Kasi kapag lumalaki ng isang tao, let's face it, diba, hindi na minsan malakas ang boses ng magulang in terms of influence sa mga anak. Mas malakas ang influence ng mga tropa, ng mga kaibigan, ng social media, at kung sino yung mga sinasamahan nila. Pero if your words are still very influential sa buhay ng mga anak ninyo, congratulations po. Especially if those words are godly words na na-instill nyo sa kanila simula nung sila'y mga bata pa. That's very important po. Okay? And lastly, ito po. Ayan, para susunod na tayo. Next one, okay, is what we call as the gender-lect theory. Okay? When we talk about the gender-lect theory, para lang po, i-summarize ko na po ito. Ang ibig sabihin po nito, magkaiba ang paraan ng pakikipag-usap ng isang babae at sa isang lalaki. Sa mga mag-aasawa, alam yung ibig sabihin ko, di ba? Right? Akala ko ito sinabi mo. Ba't ka nagagalit pa rin? Di ba? Pag mag-aasawa, usually ganyan ang nagiging problema. Okay, genderless theory sees masculine and feminine communication styles as two different cultural dialects. Usually, kapag lalaki, ang discourses nila, parang sa lipunan na masyadong pinapahalahan ang konsepto ng machismo. Right? Power. It's all about power. It's all about seeking wins. Right? Kailangan pahalagahan yung pagiging lalaki doon sa lipunan na yon. However, when we talk about how mga babae ay nakikipag-usap, it's all about showing emotions. It's all about connecting with people and those who are around you. Right? So kapag nagsama na silang dalawa, sabong. Right? So that's very important kung paano tayo nakikipag-communicate sa opposite sex natin. Okay? It's very important. Saan ba ito nanggagaling? Ano bang kulturang pinanggagalingan nito? Okay? Kasi dito meron tayong kultura ng mga lalaki, kultura ng mga babae. Sa ibang mga kultura, ganun din. Iba ang kultura ng mga lalaki, iba ang kultura ng mga kababaihan sa kanila. And when you talk about the Filipino culture ng mga lalaki, di ba hanggang ngayon medyo tabu pa rin when men are actually showing emotions. When you see men crying because, for the most part, we see showing of emotions among men as a sign of weakness. Right? Kaya kapag nandyan na lang yan palagi, ang tawag dito, nababaon na sa emosyon ng mga kalalakihan, anong nangyayari? Sumasabog na lang bigla. Diba? Yun yung nagiging problema naman ng mga kalalakihan kapag they are not in touch to their emotions because the culture dictates that you should not show any sign of weakness. And showing your emotion in a culture like ours, hopefully it's changing, is a sign of weakness. Di ba sa mga pamilya ganyan? Ayaw ng mga tatay minsan na ang mga anak na lalaki ay umiiyak. Huwag naman yung iyakin. Di ba? Pero at the time, say for example, meron talagang masakit sa kanyang puso. Di ba? Let people feel their feelings because we are emotional beings anyway. Di ba? Hindi natin pwedeng tanggalin sa mga tao yun. Babae man o lalaki yan. We're still on the same page, everyone? Okay, maraming salamat po. Okay, there are still a lot of communication theories but we don't have the luxury of time to discuss each one of them. So, dito lang po tayo sa apat na ito. So, and at this time, let's look at how the process naman. So, nalaman na natin kung saan tayo nanggagaling pag nakikipag-usap tayo. Now, let's look at this communication process. Next slide, please. Now, this is the encoder-decoder process. I got this from Hawkins 2016. So, you have the encoder. I'm not sure kung malaki po. Nakikita nyo ho dito. Kaya naman, makita natin dito. So we have the encoder, the communication media or the medium, and then the decoder. Pag sinabi nating encoder, ito po yung nagsasalita. Okay? And then you have the medium, paano bang paraan tinatransfer yung message, and then you have the decoder, yung tumatanggap ng mensahe. When we talk about the encoding, this is the process of turning our thoughts into communication. Meron kang naiisip, gusto mong sabihin ngayon. Okay? That is the process of encoding. Okay. Now, in the process of encoding, meron siyang pagdadaanan na communication media or this is the medium. Is this a verbal communication, one-on-one communication, or posibleng ang medium is via text? Okay? Or via call? Posibleng ano pa? Email, face-to-face meeting, or kanakit na anong communication tool. Sino sa inyo ang hirap na hirap mag-decipher ng message sa ilang communication media? Sino rito yung kapag halimbawa sa messenger, hirap na hirap kayong i-decipher kung anong ibig sabihin minsan ng kausap ninyo? Or ini-imagine ninyo na napapakinggan nyo sila habang binabasa nyo yon? Minsan even yung punto, yung paraan ng pagsasalita nila, ginagaya ninyo. 'Di ba? Pag binabasa ninyo kung paano sila nagsasalita doon. Okay? Kasi minsan ang hirap kapag hindi face to face because you do not know kung ano bang ibig sabihin nito. Galit ba siya sa akin ngayon? O may gusto lang siyang sabihin? O ano ba? Pag sinabi niyang ang response niya lang sa akin ay okay. Ayan na. Naguguluhan ka na kung anong ibig sabihin niya. Ano bang ibig sabihin mo ng okay? Minsan dahil napapraning ka, tatawagan mo. Ano ibig sabihin mo okay? Yun pala, busy lang yung tao, may ginagawa. Nasa meeting. Di ba minsan, yung medium mismo nakakagulo in the process kung paano tinatanggap ng mga tao, kung paano tayo nakikipag-usap. Okay, because we have a lot of options, various channels, a lot of ways in which we communicate our thoughts. Okay, into words as well. Di ba? You know, meron akong isang quote na I learned from college na until now hindi ko makakalimutan. Next slide please. Ito po. I remember this and gusto kong banggitin po ito sa inyo. Next slide po tayo. Ayan. Ayan. Sabi po dito, meanings are in people and not in words. Ang lalim naman ito. Meanings are in people and not in words. Ang sabi po ng quote na ito, there is no direct connection between a word and its meaning. Kapag nagsasalita po ako, minsan, hindi importante kung ano yung intention ko, kung hindi kung paano siya tinatanggap ng kausap ko. Meanings are dependent on the people who are listening and not on the words that we are saying. Kapag nagsalita ako, at kapag galit ka sa akin, kahit na anong sabihin ko, hindi mo tatanggapin. You understand? Kapag nagsalita ako at tropa tayo, hindi pa man bumubuka ang bibig ko, tama siya, tama siya. Ganun agad. Right? Kung ano ang kultura ko, depende yon kung ano ang ibig sabihin sa kultura ko ng sinasabi mo. It could be wrong or it could be right. Meanings are in people and not in words. That's why the choice of words are very important. Kapag minsan may sinabi na tayo, minsan kailangan nating ulitin. At kailangan nating itanong, nagkakaintindihan ba tayo? Are we on the same page? That's why in counseling sessions, napaka-importante ng repetition sa mga counselors. Kapag nagsalita na yung kinakounsela nila, ang itatanong ka agad, ang ibig sabihin mo ba ay ganito? 'Di ba? Ipapaulit sa'yo. Bakit nila ginagawa yon? Kasi importante na maunawaan nung nakikinig na ito ba yung gusto mong sabihin. Kasi baka hindi na tayo nagkakaunawaan because this is my interpretation, this might not be what you want to say. Right? Kailan ka huling nagkaroon ng miscommunication sa isang tao? Baka kanina lang habang nagpe-prepare tayo ng event na to? O kanina lang sa mga magulang mo nung nagpapaalam kang pupunta ka sa church? Or sa trabaho mo? May email kang hindi mo naintindihan tapos nag-reply ka na galit ka. Diba? Meanings are in people and not in words. Kaya the choice of words when we speak is very, very important. Yun nga lang po, each generation, iba-iba tayo ng lengguwahe. Right? May mga lengguwahe tayong binabanggit ngayon, may mga words tayong binabanggit na hindi na naiintindihan ng mga anak ninyo. Tama? Sa mga magulang dito. Ano yun, Dad? Ano yun, Mami? Hindi ko naintindihan. Pero mas mahirap intindihin ang language ng generation ngayon. Diba po? Dahil dyan, next slide po tayo. Let's try to decode yung slang ng Gen Z. Let's try to decode yung words na ginagamit ng Gen Z sa kasalukuyan. Okay, meron po akong ipapakitang mga words dito, pero ang tatanungin ko, pasensya na po mga parents ang tatanungin ko. Tingnan natin kung mahuhulaan nila kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng mga Gen Z words na ito. Don't worry po, kasi ano po tayo dito, multiple choice naman. Okay, multiple choice naman yung gagawin natin. Ayan, lalabas po ako dito sa aking kinatatayuan. Okay, magtatanong po tayo. Medyo madali lang po yung una. First word po natin, sir. Ayan, the first word is delulu. Ayan, delulu. Okay. Si Sir Art muna. Sir Art, yan. Sir Art, the first word dito is delulu. May options tayo, no? It could mean delicious, delusional, delayed, or develop. Sir, what do you think is the meaning of this?
Ngayon ko lang nakita yung word na yun.
Ano yung word na, ano lang, sir?
Ano?
Sige, sir.
Sige, kahit ano lang. Siguro siguro delusional.
Delusional.
Ayan.
Okay. Tama ba si Sir Art? Tama po. Next, please, para makita na natin yung sagot. Ayan. Very easy pa to, no? Medyo it gives the idea already, di ba? Minsan pag nag-uusap kayo ng isang babae at lalaki na may crush sa iba, baka naman delulu ka lang. Di ba? Delulu ka lang. Di ba? Delusional ka lang. Akala mo may gusto sa'yo, wala naman. Di ba? Mga delulu. Okay, next word. Ayan. Buzzin'. Ayan, hanap tayo ng magulang pa dito. Mami, hi. Hello po, Mami. Tita Migs. Ayan, Tita Migs, the word is buzzin'. Meron po tayong options dito. Great or excellent, lonely, annoying, or happy. Narinig nyo naman yung word na to? Hindi pa. Sige, pag sinabing... Okay. Sige lang po, ma'am. Tingnan lang natin po. Ano po sa tingin yung ibig sabihin nito?
Annoying. You're so annoying.
You're so... Hindi po ako annoying.
Hindi.
Sana hindi
Annoying.
po.
Siguro.
Annoying po. Tingnan natin kung tama yung sagot ni Tita. Next one, please. Ayan. You know, you're buzzing, ha? You're excellent. Diba? That's why. Gagamitin na ni Tita yan. Diba? Pag nakipag-usap siya. Diba? Buzzing. Okay, next word po. Next word. Tingnan po natin. Capping. Ayan. Pag sinabing, you know, you're capping. Okay. Mami, tama po? Okay. Ano pong pangalan siya? Si Mami Sheila. Ano po kaya ang ibig sabihin ng capping? Dancing, lying, breathing, or enjoying?
Lying po.
Lying. Narinig niyo na po ito before?
Hindi pa po.
Hindi po. Tama ba sagot ni Tita? Tama po ba? Wow! Tama. So kapag narinig ninyo sa anak ninyo, Mami, you're capping. Okay? Or sabihin ng anak nyo, Mami, ang ganda ng pelikula, no cap. Ibig sabihin, no lie. So ganun nila ginagamit. You know, the words of the Gen Z is actually about brevity. Dapat maiksi lang. At naiintindihan mo na kaagad yung sinasabi nila. Minsan po pag nagtuturo ako at sumasagot ang mga estudyante ko, ha? Kasi hindi mo na naiintindihan. So ako, magtatanong ako pabalik, anong ibig sabihin mo? Tapos tatandaan ko yon. Diba? Para maintindihan, ayon pala yung ibig sabihin nila. Mamaya minumura na ako, hindi ko pa alam. Diba? Kasi iba na yung language na naririnig natin sa kanila ngayon. Next one, please. Ayan, mid. Ayan. Pag sinabing mid, ano kaya ang ibig sabihin nito? Hi, ma'am. Hello po. What's your name po? Ma'am Melody. Ma'am Melody, pag sinabi pong mid, ang options po natin, special, amazing, average, or painful.
Average.
Average.
Wala akong
Okay,
idea.
sige po. Tingnan nga natin kung tama po ang sagot niya. Tama, average. I think it gives us an idea already pag sinabing mid. Okay, middle. So, very average lang siya. Actually, hindi po ako pumili ng sobrang bibigat na salita din kasi nahirapan din po ako eh. Okay, kung naibig sabihin niya. Next one. Okay, ayan. Salty. Pag sinabing salty, anong ibig sabihin niyan? Bitter, happy, honest, or tired? Hi, Mami. Hello po. Mami, ano po sa tingin niyo ibig sabihin ng salty?
Salty, di ba maalat yan? Bitter.
Okay, thank you po, Mami. Tingnan natin kung ano ibig sabihin nito. Bitter nga, ang galing. Kaya naman palang i-decipher ng mga parents natin dito. Yung mga Gen Z words na to. Hindi masyadong mahirap. Okay, so bitter. Di ba? Pag sinabi ng, alam mo, napaka-salty mo ngayon. Napaka-bitter ng conversation natin. Di ba? Mga ganung mga bagay. Salty. Next one. Okay, ito po. Bougie. Ayan. Ano ibig sabihin ng bougie na ito? Tingnan natin sa Gen Z naman, sir. Ito, Gen Z. Tingnan natin kung alam niyo ibig sabihin ng bougie. Popular, rich, disciplined, or expert?
Rich.
Rich. Sir, patingin nga natin kung tama, kung rich nga. Ay, alam! Gen Z, di ba? Nako, Sir Art, alam mo na. Di ba? Wow, may car ka. Bougie siguro family mo, no? Buji. Ano, sir? Bougie. Okay, di ba? So, ang yaman naman ng mga words na ito. Bougie. Okay. Yan po. Next one, ito naman yung mga ginagamit nilang mga acronyms. Tingnan natin kung alam natin kung ibig sabihin ito. WYA. Tingnan nga natin, sir, kung ibig sabihin ito. It's where you at. Okay, baka mamaya nag-message sa inyo yung anak ninyo, yan lang ang tinanong, di ba? WYA, sorry po. Next one, WYD. What you doing? OMW. Alam ng mga nandito. On my way. LMS. Tingnan natin, ano ibig sabihin ng LMS? Ano nakalagay? Like my status. Di ba, sa mga high schoolers? Like mo naman status ko. Ang LMS kasi na alam ko, Learning Management System. Di ba? Sa school ginagamit namin. LMS, Learning Management System. Malay ko ba sa LMS na ito? Learning Management System ang alam ko. Next one, ito po, NGL. Ano ibig sabihin nito? Last, yan. Not gonna lie. Okay. Mamaya po, yung mga magulang ninyo, yan ang paano makipag-usap sa inyo. Di ba? So, each generation, iba-iba po tayo ng paraan ng pakikipag-usap, even kung paano natin tinatanggap. So, it's very important na maunawaan natin, di ba? And we meet halfway as well. We try to meet halfway so that magkakaroon ng communication. Kailan nga nagkakaroon ng breakdown ng communication? If there is noise around us. And when we talk about noise, this is anything that interferes the process of communication. Pwedeng yung literal na ingay, pwedeng yung mga bagay na gumugulo sa isip mo habang nakikipag-usap ka. Okay? So anything that interferes the process of communication can actually be a way for us to be misunderstood or for us na hindi maintindihan kung ano yung sinasabi po sa atin. Okay, now that we've seen the process of communication, let's look at the different communication styles naman. And let's check saan ba ako dito sa mga communication styles na ito. Of course, the first one is what we call as passive communication. Okay, kayo ba ay passive communicator? Pag sinabi nating passive communication, ano ibig sabihin nito? We're not really expressing our feelings or yung ating needs. When we make decisions, we defer the decision to the group instead. Okay? So yun tayo makipag-communicate. We're very passive. Okay? Ini-ignore natin minsan yung personal rights natin at inaalaw natin na ang ibang tao ang mag-decide para sa atin. When you are part of the group, isipin ninyo, kayo ba yung nagsasalita? Do you give your 2 cents? Or kayo po yung usually, sige, mag-decide na lang kayo, okay na lang ako kung ano mapagkasunduan natin. Kahit hinihingi yung 2 cents mo or anong iniisip mo, ikaw ba yung passive palagi? But sometimes, when you are a passive communicator, this could often lead to misunderstanding. Kasi ang lagi mo lang sinasabi, I'm okay with whatever you do. Although, hindi naman siya okay para sa'yo talaga. It might lead to built-up anger. Kasi hindi mo nasasabi kung ano yung gusto mo. Ikaw din naman kasi nag-okay ka lang. Now, you have to understand na hindi naman ibig sabihin nito na ang isang tao has only one style of communication. Okay? Kasi posibleng sa ibang konteksto, ikaw ay passive. Sa trabaho mo, ikaw ay aggressive. You understand? Depende yun sa may konteksto or grupo na mga kausap mo at yung comfortability mo doon sa mga taong kasama mo. Okay? Depende din sa may personality ng mga tao sa paligid mo at sa iyong sariling personality. Okay? Ang usual sa mga passive communicator, makikita mo yung mga non-verbals nila, they don't want looking at people eye to eye. Tingnan mo yung katabi mo, pag diyan tumingin sa iyo mata sa mata. Tsaka lang. Yun ang usual sa mga passive communicator. Ayaw nila ng nakikipag-usap ng mata sa mata and usually nakayuko sila. Okay? Pag nakikipag-usap. Okay, next one, we have aggressive communication. This is the opposite naman. Okay, expressing feelings, needs, and ideas, sometimes at the expense of others. Okay? At the expense of others. Nai-ignore na natin minsan that other people have their voices as well. They have their opinions as well. And sometimes, ang aggressive communicator, they alienate other people. Okay? Kung baga, nawawalan na ng boses yung ibang tao, at the same time, hindi mo na lang makikita yung mga taong yun pag nagmi-meeting kayo. Because they're being alienated in a particular group. Okay? Sometimes, aggressive communicators are driven by anger and judgment. And sometimes, very inflexible sila. Kasi, sila lang nang sila yung nagsasalita. And sometimes, what they say is, for them, is the law. Okay? Yun yung nagiging batas. Minsan, maririnig nyo to sa kanila. Ito ang gagawin natin. Ito ang gagawin natin. Diba? Hindi nagiging democratic ang conversation. Ba't pa tayo nag-meeting? May desisyon naman na pala. Hindi naman na pala natin pakikinggan ng mga tao sa paligid natin. Diba? We're always, dapat, nandun tayo sa rule of the majority. Okay, there's always the best opinion, but there is no wrong opinion. That's why it's called an opinion, right? Diba? So, pakikinggan rin natin yung mga tao sa paligid natin. Next one, this is a combination of being a passive and an aggressive communicator. This is passive-aggressive communicator naman. Passive-aggressive communication. Appearing passive on the surface, but subtly acting out anger. Passive ka kapag nandiyan ka sa grupo. Pero pag wala ka na sa grupong yan, galit na galit ka pag kausap mo yung ibang tao. Salty. Diba? Sometimes we have to be very careful with that. Diba? Yung hindi tayo nagsasalita, pero pagtapos na yung usapan, instead na marinig ng mga tao yung opinion, doon sa dapat kung saan marinig yon, pinabanggit natin sa ibang tao na wala namang kinalaman doon sa usapan na yun. Minsan baka pati kapitbahay ninyo alam na yung mga usapan sa simbahan. Wag naman sana. Diba? So we have to be very, very careful with that. Okay? Examples ng passive statements and body language, minsan makikita mo na lang yung mga passive-aggressive, sina-silent treatment ka na. Diba? Nagmi-meeting kayo, hindi siya magsasalita, pero yung anger niya, nabibent out niya by silently treating the people around you or maybe yourself. Diba? So kailangan intindihin natin ano ba yung communication style natin. Baka nga ganito ako. Ano bang dapat kong gawin para hindi ako maging ganito? Diba? So communication is very important. And dapat yung mga kausap din natin, we make sure that when we talk, it is also a safe space where people can actually say what they think without being judged. Okay? Dapat safe space kapag tayo ay nag-uusap. Baka kasi yun yung nagiging reason kung bakit hindi naman nakakapagsalita yung mga tao sa paligid natin. Okay? The people around us do not feel that that place is actually a safe place for them to talk. Okay? So yun yung dapat na minsan pinag-uusapan natin pag may mga mentoring groups tayo or may mga cell groups tayo. Di ba dapat at the outset sinasabi natin na whatever we talk about in this group, okay, should remain in this group. Di ba? And this is a safe space for all of us. And dapat dito lang natin pag-uusapan yon. Okay? That's how we value the trust also of the people around us. Di ba? Making sure that when we talk, we are a safe space to them as well. Okay? Next one. Okay, last. Ito po yung tinatawag nating assertive communication. Okay? This is direct, honest communication of thoughts and feelings. Yes, you are directly speaking out what you think, but at the same time, you are respecting the feelings and ideas of other people while asserting your opinion. Okay? Pwede ka namang maging honest eh. Okay? You can be honestly respectful sa mga tao sa paligid natin. Okay? Hindi naman pwede naman na nagsasalita ka at nagbibigay ka ng opinion, at the same time, pinapakinggan mo ang opinion ng mga tao sa paligid mo. Okay? Ako naniniwala ko that two heads are better than one. 'Diba? But sometimes, ito yung lagi kong binabanggit sa mga estudyante ko pag may mga group activity sila or may mga exam na grupo. It's always good to be in groups. Okay? Although minsan may mga estudyante talaga, may mga tao talaga na mas, anong tawag dito? Sila po ay nakakapaggawa ng maayos kapag sila ay solo lang. May mga tao talagang ganun and maybe you are like that as well. Pero sometimes we learn from other people as well. Ako, what I learned in life actually, for the many experiences that I had, hindi rin naman ako ganun kabata, I learned that I love being with people who are brilliant. Diba? Kasi I learned from these people. You don't look at people na parang kapag nakakakita ka ng someone na magaling or pakiramdam mo mas magaling sa'yo, you feel threatened immediately. No. It's always good to be in the company of brilliant people because you learn from these people. And I like learning from people. Diba? Medyo kapag bata ka pa, medyo competitive yung dating eh. Diba? Elementary, high school. But by virtue of your experiences in life, you realize this is not gonna go anywhere kapag nakikipag-compete ka na lang palagi. It's always good to learn from those people who have their experiences in life already. Okay? And you know that when you listen to them, ang dami mong matututunan. Right? Sa decision sa buhay and also in their experiences. Now, assertive communication is confident, but also respectful. Okay? It's not wrong to be confident, but it has to be confidently respectful. Ang confident, ano? Parang kay Pia Wurtzbach, anong sabi niya? Confidently, ano yan? Yun, okay. Ano ba sinasabi niya? Okay, why do we communicate? Ayan, mag-aalas 12 na po. Why do we communicate? Okay, there are several reasons why we communicate. First one, sige po, una, to share information. Next, to express our feelings. Next one, to build or to edify, to encourage. Next one, to influence, and then to resolve, and lastly, to understand. Ako po naniniwala, communication needs understanding. If walang understanding na magaganap, then nagkaroon ng breakdown sa communication po natin. Okay? So, communication is not a one-way street. Okay, dapat nagkaroon ng unawaan. Definitely, kapag tayo po ay nakikipag-usap. Kapag nakikipag-communicate tayo, alin dyan yung usualing purpose natin? Is it to share information? Is it to resolve a conflict or our differences? To edify people? Hopefully tayong mga Kristiyano, ganun sana, di ba? When we talk, we are edifying the saints as well. We encourage people. Are we influencing for good? Sana. Okay? And then are we expressing our emotions, our feelings, our deepest thoughts? Okay? Are we communicating also to understand? Okay, napaka-importante po nito. Now, after talking about these theories, the process, the styles, and all of it, dito po natin tatapusin yung aking munting talk sa inyo ngayon by presenting to you what we call as the theology of Christian communication. Parang napakalalim, ano? Bababawan natin ng konti, okay? The theology of Christian communication. Now, what we have to understand is that communication is apparent to being created in God's image. Remember that God Himself is a community. Okay? We believe in one true God manifesting in the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. That in itself is a community. That's why we live in a community. And it is innate in us to socialize, meaning to communicate with the people around us. Because just like the triune God, who is a community, He also wants us to live in a community. We cannot live a life of seclusion as God's people. That is something that we have to understand. And community is basic and primary to be in God's fellowship. That's very important. The problem though is because of sin, alam po natin ito, nagkaroon ng problema between our communication with God Himself. And because of a lot of the technological advancement that we have right now, this all the more complicated how we talk to people and how we communicate with people. I like these words coming from J. Harold Ellens. Totoo po ito. Sabi niya, while our knowledge explodes, our communication deteriorates. Totoo po ito. Sa sobrang kahusayan ng mga tao, 'di ba? Minsan nakakalimutan nating maging mabuti. True? While our knowledge explodes, our communication deteriorates because we become so aggressive of the things that we know. When in fact, kapag marami tayong nalalaman, di ba? Sabi nga sa philosophy, the more that we don't know, the more that we know, the more that we do not know, then that should keep us grounded. That all the more should keep us humble. Ang dami pa pala nating hindi alam sa buhay. Minsan ang problema natin, nakabasa lang tayo ng isang page ng libro, akala natin alam na natin lahat sa mundong ibabaw. Right? And that's the problem usually. Okay? Our knowledge has exploded. Okay? Tremendously. But then the way that we communicate, nagkakaproblema tayo ng sobra-sobra. We have forgotten the art of good communication. We have forgotten the art of good communication. Minsan sabihin natin, wala kang pake. Basta ako nagpapakatotoo lang ako sa sinasabi ko. I'll be very blunt about it. Pero sasabihin ko to dahil totoong tao ako. Narinig niyo na yan? Well, listen to this. There is a thin line between being real and being rude. Asan tayo doon? Are we still being real? Or hindi natin napapansin na nagiging rude na tayo? Diba? So, kapag ganun, dapat we reflect back. I will include myself, definitely. We reflect back on our choice of words. Kasi kapag nasabi na natin yan, kahit mag-sorry tayo, ang hirap ng bawiin yan. Diba? What's one of the rules in communication? When you are at the highs of your emotions, or when you are in the lowest lows of your emotions, do not speak. Or else, 99% mali ang sasabihin natin. Experiences nating lahat yan. Diba? When we are at the highest highs of our emotions or when we are at the lowest lows of our emotions, 99% mali ang sasabihin natin. Sino sa inyong tinry nyo na yon? Magkakamali ako kaya aalis muna ako. Excuse me po. Diba? Mag-excuse ka muna. Hinga ka ng malalim. Or it's better to cut the conversation muna. Be honest. Sabihin mo, medyo mataas na yung emotions ko eh. And I don't think tama pa yung sasabihin ko. So it's better for me to think through this and then babalikan kita. Balikan nyo naman, ha? Baka naman hindi nyo nabalikan yung kakausapin nyo. Kaysa magkamali kayo ng sasabihin. But it's very difficult when we are at the highs of our emotions. Because sometimes our emotions are getting the best of us. Right? Ilang relasyon na ba ang nasira sa atin dahil ganyan ang mga naging actions natin? Dahil sa mga salitang nabanggit po natin. You see, you win an argument, you lose a friend. You win a debate, you lose a family. You win an argument sa ating mga Kristiyano, you lose a soul. Anong importante sa atin? Manalo sa argumento o yung kaluluwa ng taong kausap natin? That is something that we have to always think about. Okay? Next slide, please. Remember this. Communication is the lifeblood of human interaction. And this is very important. Next, please. Communication is the foundation of all relationships. Walang relationship na nagsasucceed ng hindi maayos ang communication. Communication, okay, is the foundation of all relationships. That's why our relationship with our Father in heaven, dapat may communication tayo palagi sa Kanya. How do we communicate with God? through prayers, through His words. It's very important. Diba? Napaka-importante ng mga bagay na yun. Now, what does the scripture say about how we should communicate as God's children? Ang sabi po sa Matthew chapter 5 verse 13, anong sabi po dito? Okay? Next one po. You are the salt of the earth. Nabanggit kanina nung ating song leader, di ba? You are the salt of the earth. Binabanggit niya kanina. Alam niyo yung salt, di ba, ginagamit as preservatives yon, di ba? So, we have to preserve the words that we say as well. Okay, na dapat when we spit them out, ang mga salitang binibigkas natin are words that are encouraging. Okay? Na kapag narinig ng mga tao, oh, I will feel good. Not just feeling good, but somehow it will be transformative in a way if it could. Okay? Next one, Proverbs chapter 18 verse 21. Okay, tingnan po natin. Next one, please. Ayan. Ayan, ito muna. Nabanggit din to kanina. Colossians chapter 4 verse 6. Let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt. Di ba yung salt na yun, napaka-importante. So that you may know how you ought to answer each person. So kapag ikaw ay pupunta sa isang meeting, lalo na pag bakbakan. Pag work, di ba ang hirap minsan? Lalo na pag sa work, kapag napaka-secular ng perspective ng mga tao, pagalingan eh. Diba? Ang hirap makipag-communicate. So our prayer should be what? Lord, help me so that my speech in this meeting would be gracious. Diba? Although mahirap siya. Well, we cannot do anything on our own naman. We always need to be dependent on God's grace. Okay? Sa lahat ng pagkakataon. Okay, next one. Ito po. Proverbs 18 verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Remember this, and I know you've heard this a lot of times already. Our words have the power to hurt, but also to heal. Our words have the power to build, but also to destroy. Okay? Words have the power to hurt and to heal, to build and destroy. So how are we using our words? Are we using our words to hurt others? Or are we using our words to heal people? Are we using our words to build up, to encourage, or our words are destroying the people around us? Hopefully tayo po na mga anak ng Panginoon, as we claim we are, then dapat na doon tayo palagi sa healing words, building up people through our words. Dapat ganoon palagi. Because remember, in Luke chapter 6 verse 45b, ang sabi po dito, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Kung ano po yung nasa puso natin, yun ang lumalabas sa ating mga bibig, sa ating mga salita. Now, if it's not, now remember this, God wants to change our words. But the change of words should first come from a change of heart. Walang magbabago sa salita kung hindi nagbabago ang puso ng tao. A change of words should come from a change of heart first and foremost. Next one, bago po ito mangyari, before we even can do this. Okay? Ayan, hindi na po yan. Next one po, sorry po. Ito. Before we even can speak the truth in love, there has to be a change of heart first so that there will be a change of words. Whenever we speak, dapat yun yung lagi nating mararamdaman. Di ba? We're always speaking the truth in love. In Ephesians chapter 4, verse 15. Next one po. Instead, speaking the truth, lagyan ko po ng sick dito, always in love, we will grow to become in every respect the mature body of Him who is the head, that is Christ. Now, what we have to understand is that God communicated with us through Christ and His words. Ang sabi ko po sa atin kanina, nasira yung communication line natin between us and God, di ba? Because of sin. But it was God Himself who made a way for us to be reconnected with Him. And that is through Jesus Christ Himself. Jesus Christ emptied Himself of His glory to communicate with us. Diba? In need of the grace of God Himself. Next one po. Ayan, matatapos na po tayo. Okay? God communicates with us through Christ. Okay, yun po yung binanggit ko kanina. Pero okay na po tayo. Next na po tayo. Okay, remember this. We are communicators of God's love, of God's grace, and of His truth. And, next one po. Remember that Jesus is our ultimate example of a great communicator. Could you imagine what kind of communicator Jesus is? Diba? Napakahusay niyang magsalita. If there is someone na dapat we look up to in terms of how He talks to people, it should be Jesus Christ first and foremost. And Jesus Christ is the ultimate expression of God's communion with His people. Okay? When we say ultimate, what does that mean? That's the greatest, okay, expression of God's communion. It's the sacrificial love of God, okay, that we saw through the crucifixion of Jesus Christ at Calvary. Okay? Yun yung pinaka-importante na makita po natin. Remember this as we end. Okay? Para po sa pag-i-end natin ng talk natin because it's already 12 o'clock. Remember this. What is the ultimate goal of Christian living? It's to be Christ-like. That's why we are called Christians. Diba? We bear the name of Christ. And if the ultimate goal of Christian living is Christ-likeness, hopefully, and as we end this talk, pagtapos po ng lahat ng ito, kung meron lang po tayong maiiwan dito na wag nating makakalimutan is this. May it be our prayer to be Christ-like, not just in our works, but more so in our words. But more so in our words. This is Wielding Words. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Marami pong salamat sa ating Panginoon po ang papuri.